Good morning, guys, and welcome back. Today has already been a little bit of a slower day here at the ranch than what we expected to kind of get done today. It's already, I think, noon, almost noon, and we haven't gotten that much accomplished. But we do have things we want to get done today. Every sign around me says winter is coming. You can already see on the ground how many, it's unbelievable actually, how many leaves there are. Also, you can see it is a bit windy today. That is just part of being up on a ridge and then having that fall and winter time come. We realize that the wind doesn't seem to come much in the summer. Come winter, the wind is blowing. Today we are starting our first bit on our fireplace, which is one of the biggest projects we have going this fall, and that is getting that wood fireplace up and running here. But there's a lot that goes into this wood fireplace. To make it safe, what is it gonna sit on, putting it together, all of that good stuff. So we have already kind of started the process on how we're actually gonna make it happen. Sorry if you can hear the goats, they are yelling at me. And then going from there, the actual installation. But today is just step one, and that is starting the mold for our hearth. We've already put the wood stove together and kind of mocked it up in the camper. So I'm gonna go show you guys that and let kind of Matt explain how and what he's gonna be doing today. Hi, baby.
Hey there. What's up?
What are you doing here?
Getting ready for some beef stew, baby. We got a project to do before I start that beef stew for tonight, and that project is going to be the platform hearth of our dwarf wood stove that we have here.
Statsy.
Really being involved.
He doesn't feel great today.
No, we got belly ache.
We got belly ache.
Belly ache. Oh man, belly aches. Okay, buddy. Dad's got to talk. Dad's got to talk. Oh.
Go lay down, Statsy.
Come on, Bubba.
Lay down.
This is our dwarf 4kW wood stove. We're going to talk more specifically about the stove itself in a future video really soon, because we're trying to get this in before it gets too cold. But today, again, we're just focused on building this hearth. If you look here, obviously this is not a safe environment for the fireplace to be on. Today, I'm making a mold for the concrete countertop that's going to serve as our hearth here. So we'll be replacing this and putting a much larger countertop on this. The total dimensions will be approximately 30 inches wide by 22 inches deep. And that's going to give us a proper clearance that we need within the camper, along with the use of some air-cooled heat shields. And part of the reason we need the 30 inches wide is just because of our luck. Right where we want to put the wood stove is right where a ceiling cross beam of the camper would interfere with where the chimney would go through the roof. So we need to be able to move this stove a bit further to the left to clear that support beam.
That dog.
Oh, we got belly aches together.
Oh my god, look at him.
Don't lick my mouth. You threw up earlier.
I know.
Oh, the poor boy. All right, let's go make a mold.
I feel like our homestead looks very homesteady right now. There's like things everywhere.
Lots of things.
Lots of things.
We got things.
Funny, sometimes our homestead feels like very clean. Everything is very organized, put away, you know, kind of shoved away if we're having friends or a party or whatever. And then there's days like today where you look around and there's things everywhere. And
more time than not, it's things.
More time than not, it is things. But like right now, there's a lot of things out that are normally put away. But that's what it is. It's a homestead. It's not supposed to be glamorous all the time. This weather, baby.
It's great.
I think we were meant to live in the land of the eternal spring.
High elevation Guatemala?
High elevation Guatemala.
Alright, so you have the beginning of the mold right behind me, and what we're using for this is melamine particle board. And the reason that you use this melamine particle board is that melamine layer is non-porous and it's very smooth, which is ultimately the surface that your concrete countertop is going to have. So we're going with a 30 by 22 platform. This will be 1.5 inches thick, and we're using concrete that's actually like specially formulated to be a countertop. Its strength is different, and I think is formulated in a way that kind of gives it a smoother finish. Part of the reason we want to do this project is when we eventually build our house, we've thought about doing concrete countertops as a more affordable alternative to countertops in our house. So this is kind of a trial run with it. And I already pre-cut everything the other day, so I'm just screwing it all on. But then the very important step that you have to do after that you'll see me do here, is you need to caulk all of the seams. But let me get this on all first real quick, and then I'll show you that step.
That's very reflective, huh?
Yeah, the white with the sun is very reflective. And another tip is I'm using a countersink drill bit. The reason to do that is it's going to make it less likely to bulge or split the particle board when you're going in here. This bottom surface is what's ultimately going to be the top of your countertop, so you really don't want that to bulge. So if you can pilot drill where your screw's going into, but also countersink the side edges so none of that bulges or splits, it's going to help you. So another thing is if you are, hang on. Oh no. If you are going to be doing molds like this, you're wondering how many bags of concrete you need. If you just Google concrete slab calculator, you can put in the dimensions of the mold that you're making, or I guess any concrete slab that you're pouring, and it will tell you how many bags of concrete you need. So this mold should be 0.95 of an 80-pound bag of concrete. And we ordered 180 pound of concrete, so that's gonna use 95% of it. So we'll just mix it all. We have a tent for it too, but you're gonna see that in another video because unfortunately we had to special order it and it's not in today. But yeah, concrete calculator just makes your life easier.
Full tips by Matt 101. They're good though, because like this is our first time ever doing any of this stuff, guys. Like we don't overly know what we're doing half the time. We just kind of research enough, do enough of our own, and then just go for it and learn as we go. So that's what's been so fun about a lot of this, and stressful. I'm not gonna lie, fun and stressful about a lot of this is you're constantly learning. There's constantly new things that you have to do. Like we've never poured a concrete slab before to make our own thing, but like Matt was just saying, we want to do it. We've considered doing it as our countertops in our house one day. So why this was a perfect opportunity for us to learn, do it. If we make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, you know, it's just where the stove's gonna sit on. So it's just like learning things like that and perfecting your skills and learning little tips from Matt. Hey baby, looks like I'm squishing your butt. Boop, boop, boop.
Big booty, huh?
It's not a big booty.
Big booty. Why are you following me?
Because I like you.
Yeah. That's what happened in the bar when we met. I turned around to her and I said, "Why you following me?" And she said, "Because I like you."
Because I like you.
That's not how it happened. We followed each other, baby.
Oh, thanks, babe. You the one.
You the one.
Now, one more time, we will not be pouring this countertop today, so you will not see it in this video, and I'm sorry about that, because I know it's a lot of excitement to not pour it.
So make sure you subscribe so you can see it in the next video. In goes the veggies.
What'd you just put in there?
So it looks really nasty if you can see it. But we had been saving bones from different meats that we cooked for months. And then I made a very large bone broth that I basically concentrated down into little baggies that we then froze. So this concentrated broth will be plenty for this large stew that I'm making. But yeah, we just saved all the bones, threw it in a pot with some veggies, cooked it the entire day, and then boiled out a lot of the water again, so it was condensed and then it's easier to store. You can also jar it, but we weren't making enough to really make that process worth it. We had enough freezer space for it. So now I add her in, cook her down, and then beef comes in.
What I love about Matt so much is that he never fails to amaze me. Out of all the kitchens that we have lived in, none of them have been overly ideal. Our house was the only one, when we lived in Chattanooga, was the only one that was like a true kitchen. And from there, it was like tiny kitchens or apartment kitchens or
Hostel kitchens
or the van kitchen, which was tiny. Like, no matter where this man goes to cook, he still can makes amazing meals. So he doesn't like make excuses for what he has. He's always been able to make it happen and never really complains about it and just kind of just like gets used to whatever, you know? The hostel kitchens were probably the hardest.
Oh, I hated it. But mostly because I had to wait in line before I could use the kitchen, and then I was using someone's pan that they burnt crust onto, and then my stuff was sticking because they had their stuff sticking.
So hostel kitchens were definitely the hardest on like keeping a good cooking regimen, but like everything else that we have traveled in or whatever or lived in, like he's just made it happen. So I've always appreciated that, baby.
Thanks, honey.
I love you.
Love you too. The neat thing we did recently is make our own hot sauce, and I made a couple different versions of this, 2 so far, still gonna make 1 more. But this one here, all of the hot peppers and all the hot sauces were from our garden, but this one here has garlic from our garden, cayenne peppers from our garden, poblano peppers from our garden, and tomatillos from the garden. So I think it was just the vinegar and the limes, maybe the black pepper, if there was black pepper, but basically all of this hot sauce here came from ingredients from our garden, which is pretty neat.
And these homesteading skills are just practice, right? It's just trying to figure out how to make these different things from scratch. And I always think, like, I guess I get a little like demotivated when I see people's homesteads just start blooming, right? They get a new barn and then they get more animals and they get this and that and the other thing. But a lot and most part of homesteading is the kitchen, right? It is the quality of things you're putting into your body, which is actually why we're here in the first place, which is the biggest thing that we're here, is to be able to cook and be able to preserve our own food. And it's so important. So a lot of the homesteading skills that you do learn and have to practice are in the kitchen, and taking what you grow and making them into something.
The mold is made.
You think you were going to do push-ups on it?
Yeah.
Push-ups.
Mold is made, and we have 1.5 inches up so that it will be a 1.5 inch slab. The next step to do is you blue tape all of the places where the board meets, and then you're going to silicone that. And that's, again, so that the concrete doesn't seep through that little crack, and it creates a perfectly smooth edge for the top of your countertop. Foreman didn't approve of the blue tape skills of mine. I'm not edge blue tape certified, so the foreman jumped in and she's going to take over. I'll just be the apprentice for this part of the project. That is way too close, honey.
Too close?
Yes, that's too close. See?
No,
See?
that's perfect.
Foreman doesn't even know what she's doing. I'm trying to fill this crack, my love. You got to leave a little bit of a gap because the silicone has to actually get in there.
But
you know what I'm saying?
too much of a gap.
Yeah, I agree. I did leave too much of a gap, but no, that's too little of a gap.
No, it's not. Your cock will go great.
No pressure.
You're making it so pressured. How about that? Is that okay?
I guess so. All right, blue tape is done. Now we are going to cook.
The blue tape is done after how many arguments?
I don't know if I'd say arguments, but disagreements, sure.
Yep, just being honest.
Just a couple disagreements. Some of us like doing things right.
Oh,
Some of us
shut
like
up.
doing things wrong, so. I think I kind of messed it up a little bit.
I don't think so. I think you might have touched it a little more than you should have, but...
Maybe.
So we pulled the blue tape off, and it was a little...
Yeah, the blue
It wasn't
tape should have
perfect.
been closer to the crack.
So we learned that the blue tape should have been a little bit closer to the crack, and that we should have used...
The pure silicone,
silicone.
Instead of like siliconized acrylic, whatever. Because I think it would have spread a lot smoother than how this stuff spreads.
So we're kind of just finagling with it right this second to see if we can get it smoother, but I also don't think we should finagle with it too much.
Yeah.
Because my husband won't stop touching it. And I think he's going to make it worse.
Probably.
Okay.
This needs to come off.
Okay. Well, so if you are doing it yourself, try to get the blue tape as close as possible, even though he told me it didn't need to be that close. Try to, so I was right. But try to get the blue tape as close as possible and then use pure silicone. I think you'll have maybe a little bit better luck. But we'll see when we pour the concrete.
It's gonna come out okay.
I still think it's going to come out good.
Trying to get it really
He's
good.
a perfectionist and I am not. That is the difference between us. I'm actually not very much of a perfectionist.
Yeah, well, honey, me being a perfectionist is why I picked you.
Oh,
Oh,
the sweetness. After arguing with me about blue tape.
you argued with me about blue tape, let's be clear.
Because you did it wrong.
Because you did it wrong.
Go get my eggies. Go get my eggies. So the girls have been laying much better than they were. We were actually having a problem with them laying, like totally. But now they're laying pretty good. Stetson just scared the crap out of them now.
Honey, you look like a WWE diva walking over the fence like that. You know when they come into the ring? I watched wrestling when I was a kid. I don't think the WWE divas usually did the people's elbow.
It's always Rose. She's the sweetest chicken we have.
She is nice.
It's good to pick your chickens up, check them. They look very healthy right now, our girls, so I'm very happy. They look so good. Oh, whoa! How many eggs?
I'm gonna say 6.
6 today?
I think 6.
What time is it, like 4? 3 or 4?
Ah, that's a good point. Is it late enough? 3:14.
Usually we do them around like 5 or 5:30. Three?
Honey. How many eggs do we got?
We got 7, but I cracked one. So we have 6, but that'll be for the puppies.
So even though we had 7, I was right. We got 6.
Yeah, I think it's his fault. He manifested me cracking this. Look at these. Eggies. And the cracked one. All right, baby, it's about that time.
So, on our live, a lot of people were asking how the most recent beer has come out. If you remember last fall, I was trying to make this beer and totally messed it up.
Totally messed it up.
It is a pumpkin coffee spiced amber ale. So.
Woo!
Nice.
Now if it shakes, it's because our big fat dumb dog.
Studs it up. Go on. All right, and the other good thing is our last beer had carbonation issues.
And this one seems to not.
As you see by the head on that beer, this one is not having any carbonation issues.
And what better way, babe, than to celebrate the end of October with this beer?
Oh, pumpkin beer.
A little pumpkin beer.
And it's almost Halloween.
And yeah, tomorrow is Halloween.
Cheers, honey.
Cheers, baby.
Gotta touch it. Yummy.
So good.
It is better than we thought the first time. So this is our third time that we've had it. First time, we thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But we're weary about a few things. Second time, we thought it was really good, but we did have a beer or two before that.
Yeah, it's been so fun to have beer and actually be able to share it with even you guys and our friends and family that are local in the area, because like it's been something that we've always wanted to be able to do on a consistent scale.
Yeah.
And
we've now done 3 batches.
We've now made 3 beers and shared them with
Successfully.
people. And and we give them away to people too. It doesn't cost us much. So
Yeah.
like it's just been so nice, and then we get to share it with our community here too.
And in this we have
delicious.
We have 4 pounds of pumpkin and 10 shots of espresso from a local coffee roaster too.
Not in just this one drink.
Yeah. That's spread amongst probably 45 total
Beers.
12-ounce beers. So it's not 10 shots of espresso right here. Happy almost Halloween.
Happy almost Halloween. It's so good.
It'll be past Halloween by the time this comes out.
Yeah, but you can tell what day it is.
So these past couple months of creating for us have been kind of interesting because we had been going so hard on projects and getting ourselves comfortable and just working so hard on the
big
homestead.
projects.
And big projects.
Solar, rainwater.
Right.
Camper.
Previously. So it was easy to come up with what we were filming for our YouTube videos.
Because our projects were so big and
yeah,
fun
and there
to
was a lot
watch.
of new stuff to share. But then we hit a point where we felt the need to refocus how we were doing things here. We wanted to reground ourselves on why we were here and take some time to kind of focus on our mental health.
It was a big year, right?
Yeah.
Like we moved from being traveling souls all over the world to being stationary in one spot. So not only a million projects to do and things to do, but that transition alone was big.
So really we just refocused ourselves on making time to do some things that we actually wanted to do and do a lot of little projects. We've talked to you guys about this already. Do a lot of little projects that just made our everyday easier. But what you might not have noticed, and what we felt tremendously, is with all of these little projects, it was like, what the heck do we even record?
Nobody wants to see us doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, honestly, today is another example of that. Just stars didn't align to have us do a big project at this time.
Even though a big project is coming, like the wood stove is coming.
Exactly.
And that's an awesome project.
Exactly. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. But it's been an interesting time of creation for us because of that. And we're not really, I'm talking about this right now, but I'm not really going anywhere with it.
No.
I'm just kind of sharing a little bit of what's been going on with us kind of behind the scenes.
And I think it's important that we talk to you guys a little bit about it. I mean, you're so involved in this process, right?
Yes.
Like they are absolutely so involved in this process. So it's like, it's fun and you guys should know like what's the day-to-day more looks like, right? Like it's not always these huge, amazing, blah, 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 it's a lot of little projects that make us feel, to be honest, way better than even little projects and big projects.
And there's a lot of channels out there that just have the ability to be making these big project content at a quicker basis. And some of that might be that they have an editor working on their videos. We don't have that.
They have more hands to be working on their property or
Right. They're not off grid, so some things, some components of their life are a little easier. There's less tedious tasks. Or just simply, they have the money to work on these big projects. And the reality is that big projects are big money. And that's something we don't quite have.
And what we're trying to do is, and what we're trying to represent too, is that you can have financial freedom while doing this stuff. You don't need 100%. To always take a loan. And I think that's something that we've really tried to express to people. It's like everything that we have done is out of pocket. We have not taken a loan for one thing. And
it slows us down at times.
It slows us down at times, but I'm feeling very good with being grounded, with being slow. I came to live out in this rural part of the country and to be slower.
Yeah. Also, it's funny you brought up the financial perspective. The camper that's behind us, there's been so much conversation about the cabin, obviously. That would have, and we've talked about this, cost us a lot more money to convert. I've recently thought about this camper behind us and how thankful I actually am for it.
I said on our last video, actually, how thankful I was for it.
Yeah, and because at the end of the day, even with the projects we're continuing to do, we're like $6,000 all in on this.
Like, that's not a lot of money.
So that is like even if we lit it on fire today and moved into a big beautiful house, we for the last year have lived in this camper
for $6,000.
For $6,000, like you can't pay rent at $6,000 for a year, you know. So I'm very thankful for that, and that's kind of just piggybacking off of what she was saying with financial freedom there.
Yeah, and I just hope you guys know that, and I hope we're trying to be as transparent as possible, to show you guys what it's like to actually do this and actually live like this, because it's not always easy. It's not always, you know.
Bubba's is trying to drink some of the beer over here, so I'm gonna move that to the table.
Dog beer. It's not always easy. It's not always very glamorous. So just know that we're
exciting.
Here. Or exciting.
So
it's life.
Yeah.
And you're here for the ride.
With all of that, we're incredibly thankful for the community that we have here and the support that y'all give us, even when we're not working on these giant, huge, exciting projects.
But we do have some fun things coming.
Yeah, the wood stove is going to be an awesome project. We have other winter projects going on. So yeah, stay tuned, y'all. If you don't already, make sure you subscribed.
And we love and appreciate you guys so much and are so grateful for you.
We're going to finish this pumpkin beer, eat some beef stew, watch some Hubie's Halloween.
Hubie's Halloween. Hubie doobie. If you know, you know.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Cheers.